What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best whirlwind barbarian build in Diablo 4 Season 9. So in this guide I will give you a quick overview of the setup, then I will explain what skills and upgrades should you focus on, then as well we'll see what is the best gear and how to get it for the end game. And then finally we will go over the skill tree, stats, your skill rotations, and even what aspects, runes, boss powers and gems should you use, so we would be able to get the highest damage possible and much more. And before we continue, thanks to U4GM, they are a pro website that provides Diablo 4 services like cheap gold with fast delivery and pro carry runs, as well as unique and legendary items. They also have more than 17,000 comments on Trustpilot, and this website is really worth a try. So make sure to use my discount code KATE for extra 6% off. So moving over to the Whirlwind Barbarian build, this is a fast and aggressive melee setup that focuses on the Whirlwind skill, allowing you to spin around rapidly, dealing continuous damage to the all nearby enemies. Gameplay revolves around maintaining constant mobility and using spin to win, to clear large groups of enemies while generating fury to fill up your attacks. This build focuses on stacking physical damage, attack speed and fury regeneration to keep the party spinning. So let's take a look at the best aspects and uniques, and we are going with the Edge Master's aspect, because it increases skill damage based on your current primary resource. Whirlwind is very fury intensive, so this aspect rewards you for managing fury efficiently, by offering consistent damage boosts. Next we got the aspect of the Bull Katos, which makes that earthquakes are triggered by the leap and 2 bonus damage. This has a very strong synergy with the leap builds that include earthquake procs by offering AoV and utility damage alongside the whirlwind. Then also we got the aspect of the earthquakes, so now after using the leap more earthquakes are created that deal physical damage over time. This stacks well with the Bull Katos and enhances AoV control, which is perfect for map packs while spinning through them. Next up we have the aspect of the Dust Devils. Now Whirlwind will generate Dust Devils that deal damage in a small area. This gives us a passive AoV damage that synergizes directly with the Whirlwind for better mob clearing. Then also we got the aspect of Elements, which cycles through the elemental damage bonuses. We went with this because it creates big damage spikes during the physical phase, as timing your bursts during this phase will add a huge buff. Next up we got the Bold Chieftain's aspect. This reduces the Warcry cooldown based on the enemies nearby. It helps to maintain high uptime on the Warcry for berserking and the fury generation. Next up we got the aspect of the Anger Management, which generates the ultimate cooldown based on the fury spent. This allows you to frequently use Wrath of the Berserker, which is a major damage and mobility boost for this build. Next up we have the aspect of the Berserker's Fury, and in simple terms we will gain fury while berserking. This fuels Whirlwind and synergizes with the Wrath of the Berserker and other berserking sources. Next up we got the aspect of the Might. This basic skill will grant damage reduction, and we can use a basic skill like the Lunging Strike to proc this before the Whirlwind for sustained tankiness. Then also we're using the aspect of Disobedience, which gains stack armor on dealing damage. Whirlwind hits frequently, so stacking armor fast for better survivability could be a huge deal, and it is also essential for pushing high-end content. Next we got the Ghostwalker's aspect. This gives us movement speed and unstoppable effect. This synergizes with the Berserker's Wrath and mobility, which in general will help in repositioning, avoiding CC, and staying spinning 24/7. And lastly we got the aspect of the Creeping Death. This increases damage over time against crowd controlled or the slowed enemies. If your build applies slows or stuns, then this will add the bonus damage. It's less crucial, but it's nice for additional synergy in the harder boss fights. Then for weapon active runes we're using the Moni and the Tech. Moni, the rune of ritual, is the best for single target damage, especially boss fights or elite hunting. It encourages isolating enemies to gain a flat damage boost, and works great with a high burst or assassin style builds, or when kiting or pulling enemies apart. While then the Tech, aka the rune of invocation, is the best for elemental builds, with consistent scale usage. This rune will act as a trigger for the secondary effects from the Link support runes. It is a core to many synergetic rune combinations, aka the heart of a custom elemental trigger setup. Next up we have the boss powers, and we are going with the Wandering Dead Chest Beam. This is is a high damage telegraph attack. It's often used in mid to late phase, causing wide area threat and punishing mobility. Then also we got the Blackmailer Sabotage, that forces players to adapt positioning quickly. This can synergize with the Aerial Denial, making movement-based builds safer. Then also we got the Flesh Reaper Distribution. This one punishes ability-dependent builds, especially those who are relying on the shouts or barriers. It's ideal to counter defensive stacking or the cooldown heavy rotations. And lastly we have the Cinerat's Flames, which creates a denial zone that deals burning damage over time. Players must manage space carefully to avoid stacking damage over time effects. Next up we got Gems, and we went with the Amethystone weapon, because Whirlwind will apply dot damage due to its continuous nature, and it also boosts other damage over time effects like the bleed, especially if using passives or skills that apply it. This gem is excellent for builds that incorporate bleeding or want to boost overall sustained damage. Next we got the Ruby for armor. Our build is in melee range 100% of the time, so this gives us a bigger health pool, improving survivability in the Nightmare dungeons and also against elites where the burst damage can get us one-shotted. Then for Amulet we went with the Diamond, because elemental damage from the enemies will become more lethal in the higher level content, so Diamond helps around with resistance, which is especially important in the Nightmare dungeons, where resistant penalties are severe. Then for first ring we got the Diamond. This helps to reduce cooldown on the Breath of the Berserker, which is your most important damage and the movement buff. Keeping this up more often means more fury, more berserking and more consistent whirlwind uptime. And then for the second ring we got the Skull. More armor equals more damage reduction for the physical hits, so this is especially important for melee build like ours, that never backs off from the enemies. Next up we have our skill tree. This setup is optimized for high-end uptime on the Whirlwind, Fury Generation and Berserking. Launching Strike is chosen as the basic skill for mobility and to trigger defensive aspects like the aspect of Might. Whirlwind is the core damage skill, enhanced by the aspects such as the Dust Devils, Bull Katos and the Edge Master, or AoV and sustained DPS. Then the Rallying Cry is essential for generating fury, and applying Unstoppable, which pairs well with the Ghostwalker's aspect for speed and CC immunity. Then Warcry is used to grant Berserking, further empowering damage and feeding fury with the aspect of the Berserker's fury. These shouts also benefit from passives like the Booming Voice and the Prolific Fury. Then the ultimate Wrath of the Berserker is a key burst tool providing Berserking and Unstoppable. It synergizes with the aspect of the Anger Management to reduce cooldown based on the fury spent, keeping the buff active for much longer. Then also we got defensive skills like the Iron Skin or the Challenging Shout that provide damage mitigation, while passives enhance survivability and the shout synergy. This tree is built to ensure continuous whirlwind uptime, strong survivability, and efficient fury usage, or endgame PvE in the Nightmare dungeons. Next up we have our Paragon board, and the setup is tailored to maximize fury generation, damage while berserking and the whirlwind effectiveness. The central board will prioritize glyphs that scale off the strength and the fury spent, which are ideal for maintaining whirlwind uptime and scaling AoV damage. Then Decimator, Exploit Weakness and the Carnage boards are included for critical damage vulnerability exploitation and increased attack speed, which are all key for sustaining fury and maximizing our DPS. Then also we got the Wormringer, which is another standout, granting fury when taking damage, which synergizes perfectly with the Whirlwind's consistent need for resource and the melee positioning. The padding emphasizes rare and the magic nodes that increase core skill damage, physical damage and the damage while berserking. This setup includes Territorial and the Iron Blood glyphs that provide damage against closed enemies, and bonus armor scaling which enhances survivability during very intensive melee combat. Additionally, the build seeks out fury cost reduction and the cooldown reduction, allowing for near permanent uptime on the Wrath of the Berserker and the shouts. This Paragon layout is all about spinning endlessly, staying tanky through the armor and life nodes, and converting consistent fury flow into relentless area damage output. Next up we have our Mercenary setup, and we use Hired Mercenary Subo because of his ability to boost damage and apply crowd control, making enemies more vulnerable to the whirlwind. His support helps with clearing large packs quickly, especially when paired with the aspects or the effects that scale off the crowd control enemies. And then Reinforcement Rachel enhances survivability and control by taunting enemies and reducing incoming damage, which helps us to stay in the whirlwind longer. Together, Subo and Racher provide a balance of offense and defense. Subo amplifies your killing healing power, while the Raher protect you, making them ideal companions for melee-centric and fury-fueled Whirlwind Barbarian in the endgame content. And then finally we have our rotation, so we want to start with the Rallying Cry and the War Cry to boost fury and damage, then use the Challenging Shout if you need defense, then pop the Wrath of the Berserker for burst and berserking. If fury is low, then use the Lunging Strike once or twice, and lastly just hold down Whirlwind and spin through the enemies, and that's about it. So let me know what you think about this build in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, then you definitely don't want to miss my previous top 3 best builds video, where I showed even more powerful builds, so click the screen now and I'll see you in the next one.